Hey, thanks for stopping by my channel. So the purpose of this video is to clarify a little bit of confusion that was in my previous video on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I do apologize that I thought it would be a great idea to make a short video just on how to exploit the bug and maybe a little bit of what was going on, but I have received some feedback explaining that I should have gone into a lot more depth with the JavaScript so that you could see exactly how the bug works and exactly how you would fix the bug so that you could understand what was going on completely. So in this video, my goal is to walk you through exactly why the max length in the HTML needs to be checked by a JavaScript function. So that way when the post request is made, it will go through a filter before it is posted to the server. So with that, we're going to go ahead and dive into this, and hopefully this will clarify some of the confusion and questions that you've had in the previous video. Let's jump into it. All right, here we are with my handy dandy little React app that I have written. I added a little bit of code to it this morning so that we can check how this exact bug works. So here we have a check register function that I have written within this code. So I want to walk you through this so that way you understand exactly what is happening and how the code should work properly, and then show you how a bug occurs if a developer didn't add in a check length function that we have right here. So right here is what we're dealing with, is this right here. So this is the registration of a user. If we're going to register a user, in my last video I explained it as adding in a comment, but it works just the same with registering a user, and I really didn't want to rewrite this entire little practice app. So right here we have a registration for a user. We have the username label, which is just right here, and then we'll have a password label, and then we're going to have our input functions. So we have an input one right here, and we have the label. So this is the input for our user. So let's say we want to have a max length of 5 for a username. So you cannot make a username with more than 5 characters. So if we come over here and we type, we can't put anything more than 5 characters. There's nothing I can do. It is checked at 5 characters and it's stuck. But I want to show you that we have it set up to a console log right here, the input, and whether the post fails or succeeds. So if it succeeds, it'll tell us that it has posted. If it fails, it will tell us that it has failed. So the way this function works is on click right here, we're going to call this function to check the length, and it's going to come up here and call this function. This is a variable that is going to be set to 6, and if the max length that we have right here, the input value, is length, which is going to be this right here, so if we put all the characters in there, that's 5 characters. If that input length is less than this length right here, which is 6, then it will tell us it has posted or it has failed. So if we come over here and we inspect and we go to our console log and we check the user, it's going to tell us that it has posted because this is less than the 6 characters. So this is how the function actually works. So it will let us register a user if we come in here and we want to register a user, and this is going to be our password. So we'll just copy this and we paste over here and we hit register. Now if we come down to the login form and we check it, it'll tell us that it logged in because this is a valid user. But if we add a character and we log in, it will tell us wrong username and password. Now here's how you bypass this if there is no function. So if we come over here and we comment out this function and we comment out our register button that comments our function, so that way we don't get an error when our code compiles, and we save this, it'll relaunch our app, and then we can come over here, refresh the page, so that way everything is back to normal. So if we inspect this, it's back to 5. We commented out the check register function. So if we type something in here, our max length is 5. So we can copy this just like we did before, and if we register, because this is less than 5, it will work. But what we can do right here, because we don't have our function in there, we can come in here and we can type in max length of 10, and now we can type this in twice and it will allow us to register this user right here, and it will say logged in because our function right here that checks our input is now gone. And so it's trusting the client side to not change this input of 5. So I'll show you this one more time, just in case it was too confusing the first time. So we comment this out, we save it, our code compiles. We come over here, we refresh the page. So we cannot put anything more than these 5 characters in here. And if we register this, it's going to tell us that it posted, and it posted because it's less than 5 characters. But if we come over here and we inspect this, because we have our function in place, if we set this to 10 and we now type in 10 characters and we click check register, it's going to tell us that it failed because this check register button right here calls this function, and it will tell the server not to accept this request because this function has checked our max length, and it gives this error right here. Now, if you are a programmer, I do understand that I have my server running over here, and I don't actually call in my error right here in my else. If I really didn't want this to post, I would post an error and I wouldn't allow this to go through to the server. So I just set this up so that way it would be an example to show that you would have to have a call function, because I was getting a little bit of pushback in the previous video, and I guess I didn't do a great job explaining it. So I hope this helps you understand when you change this max length to a different number, if there is no function being called, as there is right here, calls this function, then you can make a post or register a name that would be more than the allotted characters that was set up within the HTML right here. So this would actually post, if this worked, it would actually post to the server and it would accept it. So I hope this has clarified any of the confusion that you may have had with the previous video. And if you have any more questions, please let me know down in the comments below. And if this was a little bit confusing for you, then I do apologize. I didn't plan on originally going in this much detail. I thought this was a pretty simple bug and it would be easy to show. But for those of you who are a little more advanced, you wanted to see exactly how the entire scope of the bug may work and be remedied. So you can go back and watch this video right here, which was the video before this one, that will help you understand how to exploit a max length bug when it is not checked by a function. Thanks for watching.